This is going to be part 2 about what we just talked about. So you have to pay attention to what the females are saying, because everything that the females, women, girls, mamas, grandmamas, whatever you want to call them, they get their instructions directly from the earth. And they get their instructions from the earth. They get their instructions from the earth is because this is where the children pass through. They come through the females. And we look like fucking idiots when we talk about something else. So most of us are Christians. In page 1 of the Bible, 2 men create a woman. How come that's not talked about? How come that's not talked about in the church? And this is where we always get slapped around, because anybody can tell us anything and we'll swallow it. So Lisa's on her way back with us. Listen to what we're trying to get across. The Americans, and that's the name, Americans, soul people. I mean, goddamn, you're being told daily, but you want to forget it. You don't know. Help. My shoes was untied. Nobody told me. See, that's the African Americans. That's the way they think. Never winning. So that's why the state of New York can give $2 billion to the immigrants, while they gentrifying your ass everywhere. And you don't know. I forgot. Huh? What you mean? You ain't my daddy. Watch how the African American talks. Listen to what they say. Listen to how they speak. I mean, we can go back to Martin Luther King assassination. It was the ministers that dogged him out. And you niggas still Christians? Really? And you mad because we saying the truth. All you that want to follow them, please go. Go. There was a story put out earlier in the week, where they got all these African boys' penises in China. And you don't think they eat you? You heard about the brother wrapped in the mat in Georgia. Huh? We don't believe this. We don't believe this is going on. This is why they do what they do to you. Because you love to be dumb. I don't know. Nobody told me. People from other places come tell you about your mama, and you will agree with them. You will tell me I hate whatever they tell you are, I hate that self because I love my mama. This is the African American. Don't pretend like the African American is something that it counts. They don't. They are a cloned race of people. You didn't have African Americans in 1975. Did you? Was Jimi Hendrix an African American? No. Were the people who raised you up an African American? No. So this is how they go around and get rid of the indigenous people. They just tell you what they want you to know. And it's like Deborah, Oklahoma says, they give you the picture, you shine it to the universe, and you bring them their wishes. That's where you at. So all you brothers that's going with these sisters with these weaves and all that bullshit in their hair, remember, the mind is the easiest thing to control. You don't think the mind is controlled through the wigs? We don't get that to today. You know, these people create technology, nanotechnology. You don't think they putting that in the wigs? You don't think they putting that in the baseball caps? The African American know because they don't think. They just do what they're told. And it doesn't hurt. That's just how it is. See, it's happening, but they'll trick you into thinking, you heard leave me alone. But they're making sure the agenda goes through. You haven't heard of Billy Kyles? You haven't heard of Milana Karanga? You haven't heard of the Black Panthers? All of these ideologies, all these religions to make you stupid, and you don't know about it. You don't believe it. And you won't spend 10 seconds thinking about what's been told to you, because a monkey can figure out that he's been had. There was a movie that came out in like 1969, 70 called The Spook Who Sat by the Door. The Spook Who Sat by the Door. Any of you who haven't seen it, you can watch it free online, because that's how much it was disrespected. We didn't even listen to it. And all it was the simple message was, brothers, learn as much as you can and use it for your benefit. That's all it was saying. But one of the main storylines in that movie is the brother told the sister, who was his ally, you would look much better if you wore your hair the way it grew out of your hair. And the sister, she was a whore. She was a prostitute. She said, what you mean? Wear my hair natural. He said, you would be beautiful. This sister took his advice. Unfortunately, she was wrapped in the African garb, but she was bad. And if you knew that actress, Paula Kelly, she was fine. Told the sister, hey, wear your hair in its natural state. She took the brother's advice and came up after that. This is what I'm saying, y'all. You can't listen to what other people say about you. You can't take what other people say about you. You can't take what other people tell you about yourself. And the so-called African American, we cool with it. We'll cut somebody out. We'll play around. We'll take their word for it. See, that's what the African American does. Remember how the Negro is being trained. Before you were African American, you were black. But if I put a black picture up of you, you would be pissed off at me. Before you were black, you were Negro. That's Spanish for black, but they're all in the same gang. And you just, what? I don't know. That's the African American, the Negro, the black person. They never know anything because that's what black means. Your thing. Only colors describe things. You do know that, right? Colors only describe things. Are you a thing? The African American will tell you yeah, and will kick your ass if you say no, right or wrong. You see the direction of the world. You see it. We can keep on playing dumb if we want to. See, Copper Color Lifestyle said, Photoshop them black. We did that, boo. And when we put that picture up, people got pissed off. But you call yourself black. But now we showing you a picture of you black, and now you're mad. Why? This is where you are. Common sense stuff. You mad. Common sense stuff. You mad. Common sense stuff. You mad. So what we were talking about immigration tonight. Immigration. So that means if all the Negro, black people, African Americans said, we tired of America, we're going to move over to Zimbabwe. Do you honestly think those people would welcome you home as brothers? When they have a hard time getting land themselves? This is how the Negro in America thinks. He thinks this is for everybody, and he doesn't get in. Ask them. Ask your mothers, your grandmothers. Ask the Christians. They'll tell you. They'll tell you. They don't know what they're talking about, but they will tell you. So you have to ask the brothers and sisters in Chicago, why are you guys taking a Pakistani religion and shoving it down the people's throat here? Ask them that. Ask them that. Stop talking all this big bullshit. Ask them that. Ask the Christian, how can two men create a woman? This is on page 1 of the Bible. This is page 1. Well, how come you don't know this? This is simple shit. Simple. Why doesn't it? I don't like nobody, huh? This is page 1 of the Bible. It tells you that two men get together to make you can call a woman, you can call it that, because I know that's what all you've been brought up in. How does two men make a woman? When I ask Christians that, I've asked Frederick Casey Price. I don't know. How come you can tell the African American Negro any goddamn thing? And they just believe it. They don't, no matter how dumb it sounds. How are this is passed down to our children, and what their grandmothers, what their great-grandmothers knew and taught, they don't even talk about that. This is what the African American does. So talking about the African American like they're important. They're not. They're a tool used, and they will tell you this. All you got to do is know what questions to ask them. Ask them, why does the African American do this? And why do you accept what they say? Because it really boils down to that the African American is not the dumbass. You are. I don't care what college they went. You should already know that the college system is done. This is the best. This is the best that you can get right now. You wearing a mask. This is what your intelligentsia has passed down to you. And guess what you do? Boss, what's next? This is what the African American does. See, you notice the African American, Few African Americans say anything against this. Most African Americans go with it, right or wrong. So truth said the truth sounds like hate to those who hate truth. This is the African American mindset. Okay, so let's take what the brother says or the sister says. The truth sounds like hate to those who hate truth. Should we consider that? Should we say, well, wait a minute, that makes sense? The truth sounds like hate to those who hate truth. Is that true? Hell yeah. So, why do many hate truth? Why do they hate truth? You know why they hate it? Because they've been it's like a Christian. See, now everybody's asking questions. And so the Christian can't answer it. They don't know what to say. They can't go with the truth because they've been perpetuating a damn lie their whole life. Many of you have done it. Many of your mamas have done it. Your daddies have done it. How do you go to Deuteronomy and it tells you to kill your black ass, but you support it? But then act like you don't know what it said, but you read the Bible. Explain that. Explain it. How do you always, I didn't know. How are you always like that? You never know nothing. Because you're African American. You were cloned from the black people. The black people were cloned from the Negroes. They're cloning you away from the land. You don't see that. I didn't see it. Nobody told me. This is the African American. Seriously, ask your people who've been in the military for 20 years. Ask the Negroes who have helped these immigrants build their empires on your land, because that's what y'all did. Ask them. You will know right away when they lying is when they open their mouth. Do you think you could go to Madagascar and build your empire on their land and their people will help? They wouldn't even, they don't support you here. So you know what they'll do at home. Do you think you can go to Bangladesh and build your empire there? Whatever ideas, whatever you have, build your there and they'll support you? No. Do you think you can go to China and open up a soul food place in China and they support you like you support them there? Come on. Come on. Come on. We'll say yeah just to pretend because we do it to them. Do you think if the African American came up with a tennis shoe, that they would support you over there? No. So why do the African American support anybody? They can come from a place you never even heard of, and the African American would be down their throat, right or wrong. Many of you won't answer because you feel embarrassed that you got to say right. The African American's job is to bring in foreigners. Don't you got to know that. You got to know that. I didn't know. Huh? Why? I'm confused. You're always confused. Why is immigration so important in America? Because they tell the African American that he's the majority, he's the minority. Minority, 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 minority. But my question to all of you, where in the world do you go and the minority is the least amount of people? So that's why they tell you African, black, blah, to just fuddle your mind so they can play games on you. And guess who their number one players are? The Negro. That's all he does. Anybody, you can call me at 213-269-9469. Explain yourself. This is what the Negro does. Very dumb. I don't care what college they went. See, and that's another thing. The African American feels like the people who went to college are intelligent. When your people said, and you should know this, when they take your children off to college, they're no more use to you. Because they're going to be taught to work against you. You haven't learned that yet. The African American, no. So you'll know that in African Americans, you don't see African Americans written about in the 1800s. You don't hear about African Americans being written about in the 1900s, 1920s. There wasn't no African Americans. 1920s. There were no African Americans. 1950s. You didn't hear nothing about African Americans. Jack Johnson wasn't called an African American boxer. Muhammad Ali wasn't called an African American boxer. Ken Norton wasn't called an African American boxer. How all of a sudden you get African American and you didn't have no say in anything? You just went along with it. But boss, whatever you call us, we gonna be that, boss. That's the African Americans thinking. Right or wrong? You goddamn right. And so, okay, so now, so let's look at it. Look at the people coming through, because this is how you're controlled. You have the African American Party. What do? The baby boomers. What do? The baby boomers set up everything for everybody to come over here. They went with it. They okayed it. And so that's what we talk about Deborah, Oklahoma, saying they give you an image, you project the image, and it comes back on you. You do know that, right? You do know that. They just give you the image. You take the image. You project it, because why? You're the soul people. I ain't no soul people. You're the soul people. Whatever you project comes back. If it's good, if it works against you or not. The African American revels in working against himself. Right or wrong. David Corey says, look at rap. I know many of y'all was pissed off. DMX died, and y'all just thought he was the best. Really, dude? I will fuck a corpse. I have blood on my... That's art to y'all? To the African American, yes. This is what you've been reduced to. So now if you look at everything in politics, what's going on in politics, what they're saying get rid of your ass. And guess who? And guess what you're doing? Yeah, boss, get rid of us. This is the African American. So pay attention, y'all. You voted for Biden and Harris. And they both told you before they voted for you, you have nothing coming from us. You better get friends with the Mexicans. But you still vote. You know you still win for it. You love now. This is what these people are telling you. So those of you who are indigenous, and when I say indigenous, I mean industrious. Same words. Independent. You do your thing. I do mine. If you want to build for massa, you go do that. But when Massa finish with you, you and him have a conversation. Go. The people whose parents are buried in the ground here, and they talking to you, if your ass can't hear them, that's on you. The people talking to you, you better start talking to them and tell them what's up. Because the world is converging. And remember, Deborah, Oklahoma talked about the convergence. I hope y'all getting this. The world is leaving their homes, coming over here, converging on your land. What you gonna do about it? I appreciate all you guys joining us tonight, but I gotta take my ass to bed. I'm sleepy. We're gonna see you later on in the week. Listen, this is your home. How do you just give it away? And you just walk away from it. This is what we're gonna talk about next time. We'll see you next time. Peace.